giant orange records.
I'm burned out. This has become a dangerously expensive and exhausting habit. I'm an avid record collector, but lately I feel like I've been crushed by an anvil of vinyl. There have been so many great records coming into my house over the past year and a half that I'm hardly able to keep up. I've managed to find a lot of my holy grails, though, and that's a good thing. I have many of the Beatles' UK mono albums now. I have a Led Zepp 2 RL Hot Mix. Technically, it's a Hot Master, but whatever. My local record store, the one that's 5 minutes from my house that is owned and run by some of my friends, changed ownership in early 2023 and has had so many great records in stock that I just can't afford to keep up anymore. My living room is bursting at the seams with records everywhere. I recently asked the record store owner about how to store all these damn things. He told me to stop buying records. Then I wouldn't have a storage problem anymore. My collection is about 12 to 1,500 strong. The record store owner said when he was my age he had about the same amount, but he kept collecting, buying more storage shelves and continually running out of space. I've decided it's time for a mindset shift. I'm taking a break from buying records. I don't know exactly how long, but I'm going to start with 1 month. It's time to appreciate what I already have. I was buying 20 to 30 albums a month for more than a year. Perhaps my knowledge of great music exceeds what I can grasp, comprehend, and soak in like a sponge that can only hold so much water at one time. The relative scarcity of some records, coupled with extremely high demand, has driven prices into the stratosphere. Perhaps FOMO is what drove me to such a fierce collecting spree. Surely if I don't grab this first press of this Pink Floyd album, somebody else will. And alas, they did. Oh well, perhaps that is fate intervening. Maybe some other dude has all the first presses of all the Pink Floyd albums, but so what? My reissues sound just fine and are affordable enough. I'm in a pretty busy phase of life right now. I'm a single parent, my son is 9 years old now, and I spend a lot of time with him. We do sit and listen to records together. I play music in 2 bands, which is incredible. I work overtime regularly at my day job, and that's all right too. I'll confess that I make more money now than when I was much younger, but I also have more bills and responsibilities and less free time. Records were a lot cheaper when I was younger, and they were really exciting. If I bought 1, 2, or 3 records a week from the flea market or thrift store, I actually listened to them a lot and soaked them in, really cherished them. They were a major novelty. At the time, I didn't know there were different pressings. I didn't really even know how to grade a record. Reissues were not readily available, and certainly not at the flea market. Growth and awareness are beautiful things, but once you eat from the tree of knowledge, you will realize that you have become naked. Learning is good, but it also complicates things. I became a different person when I found out individual record pressing plants can sound different and that scratch to hell records are far less valuable. I mean, that's kind of common sense. I learned the gold mine grading system. I learned to read the stampers and the dead wax. And that might be the long journey to becoming a crotchety old record collector. Innocence is lost once you put a magnifying glass up to the dead wax. Does all this nonsense take away from the enjoyment of the music? I thought I already had my favorite record, but then realized that it's a second or third or fourth press. And gosh, I really want that first press, and I want it to be in VG Plus condition. But everyone else wants the same copy too, making it an expensive pressing. The whole reason I got into vinyl is because records used to be cheaper than CDs. But now we have streaming. But you see, the Beatles mono catalog is not available on Spotify. Neither is the RL Master of Led Zeppelin 2. It's a vicious cycle. Even though Jack White has put out a new album this year in summer of 2024 with a lot of hype, and a lot of my favorite bands have put out new albums this year, I can't really drop that kind of coin on them right now, and they'll probably be more expensive tomorrow. I also need to invest in my own band, the Electric Splash, which will be releasing music soon. That's going to be quite an upfront expense. I also need a new home air conditioner, which is going to be really costly, but is expected to be a lot more expensive in 2025 because of new EPA regulations. The clock is ticking, and that will put a stop to my record buying for some time. You could say that listening to vinyl is an experience, and it is, but the smarter part of me thinks if I have any spare change, I should rather spend it on life experiences, like traveling to new places, or new record stores, or just doing things that I've never done. I mostly listen to records in my house by myself. I don't want to become an old cat lady record collector. Sometimes my friends drop in and we listen to records. It's a lot of fun. I could sell some of my collection, but sales on Discogs have been rather slow this year. Here's what I've been doing to pass the time instead of spending hours at the record store. Rearranging the living room to make it more feng shui, practicing minimalism, watching the rain, reading books with my son, cataloging my records on Discogs. Not fun, but it makes it easier to sell if I should choose to. Practicing daily meditation. Yeah, I haven't really done a good job with that. Connecting with the source energy of the universe. Practice guitar. Practice piano. Practice singing vocal scales. Paint. Cook homemade meals from scratch. Go to the gym. Go to the gym again on a different day. Have a band practice or two. Play a gig with a cover band. Wanting to do all these things is probably why I feel anxious, burned out, and bored at the same time. I've been told by a family member that I have too many irons in the fire. This is probably true. Other people can see you in ways that you are unable to see yourself. But I have a burning desire to create and consume at an alarming rate. That's the blessing and the curse of being creative. The hard thing about slowing down is that collecting records has become part of my identity. It's fun. It's a big part of who I am. It's a big part of my living room. But when the thrill of the hunt becomes more fun than listening to the music, it becomes a major problem. So, how did I do? Well, halfway through the month I bought one record, but it was not for me. It was a birthday gift for a friend. My collection is already so lean that I couldn't find any duplicates or music I'm willing to part with to give to a friend as a birthday present. So I went to the record store. While I was there, the kind folks at Sounds Good Music gave me a mono first press of the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan and let me keep my third press stereo copy that I was going to trade toward the mono. So that's one extra record in my house. Not bad. I suppose I would grade myself at an A or A-, because technically I didn't buy anything that stayed in my house. But then Merge Records issued a David Kilgour album on vinyl for the first time. And my favorite Clientele record skips, and the Clientele also released a new single, and then another new single, and Merge was giving away a copy of the newest single with online orders for 2 days only of a single that had only been available at one of their live gigs. So I hit that order button. I'll downgrade myself to a B+ because of this. I made it to day 29 without buying a record, but on day 30, I gave in. And on day 31, I picked up a few Ventures albums for $5 a piece. And the kind folks at Sounds Good gave me a pile of dollar bin albums for free. Nobody else does that. Life can't always be scripted. Quitting a record acquisition habit is hard. I guess it's like quitting smoking, or alcohol, or becoming a vegan overnight. It's definitely not an overnight thing. Cold turkey has got me on the run. Which reminds me, I don't think I have that song on vinyl, but let me check. None of these items are needs. They're just wants. Needs are food, water, shelter, going to work so I can pay my bills, and I guess love would be another need. That's what the Beatles said anyway. But should song lyrics really guide my life? Maybe, maybe not. So I'll listen to my cleaner, upgraded copy of Magical Mystery Tour that I got earlier this year. Or maybe it was last fall. I can't remember. I'll listen to that record with my son and call it love. That's an experience that I will grade as an A+.